Hey, good morning, everybody. I had to do this live stream from home today because it freaking snowed outside. And, well, got all the equipment from live streaming at the hotel, so I guess this all worked out. If anything looks weird, it's because I'm at home. And if you hear anything crazy, it's because, well, I got two kids and Kimberly's here, and so that's the way it works today. And we're gonna do a crypto special. So um, let's pitter patter. Let's get at her, shall we? We had those spot ETFs hitting last week, and well, I mean, we had more money dumping into those than I think. I don't know. Some people thought we would, but then other people thought we would get even more. So that's kind of I don't know. It's like which one, which thing? I don't know. Uh, it's hard for me to say. So anyway, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation, intended to be informational, educational, fun, is not a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument. If you desire personal financial advice, you got to hire and consult a financial advisor. Now, um, the thing is with these spot ETFs, like there's 11 of them. They each have like, gosh, like 150 pages of prospectus. They've all bought their initial basket. They all had to do initial funding, and I know everybody can see my screen. I'm just trying to close some tabs and stuff. Something exploded a few tabs there before I jumped on, and so it's like JT, which one's the best? Well, I was jumping through just BRRR, and HODL this weekend in the Crypto Power Plays update. And, well, I mean, the creation units, vastly different sizes. The Bitcoin per unit share, vastly different. The management style is probably going to be different. A lot of them have that fee waiver for the first, um, I was talking about this. There's a fee waiver for Bitwise, for Arc, for Fidelity, for Wisdom Tree, for Invesco, for Valkyrie, and not for BlackRock's. But that's the management fee waiver. They're still going to have like transaction fees, expense fees. That's the word I was looking for. Those expense fees are still going to be passed along. And are any of them better than just buying Bitcoin? In the long run, probably not. You're going to pay these fees whether you make any transactions or not in the long run. Now you've got, several months of discount, but uh, I don't know. If you're going to hold it long term, you're probably better off going and buying your own Bitcoin and holding it. Or, going to Tasty Trade, whatever, and holding that Bitcoin there. If I'm just trying to be honest here, the longer you hold it, the more fee you're going to pay. That's not the way holding Bitcoin at any broker works. Like, if you go to Tasty Trade, you can buy it and just hold it in your account there. If you turn on crypto, if you go to Coinbase, you pay the high fee in, you'll pay a high fee out, but there's no fee to hold it. Crypto.com, same situation. Any of the other brokers, same situation. If you want to move it to a cold wallet, you'll pay the fee on the network to move it, but otherwise, you won't pay any fees. So, is a spot ETF right for you? Maybe. Now, in 2 to 4 weeks, when we see options, HODL in particular said Van Eck here said they were going to they expected options to be created. Their creation units 50,000 shares. They had $82 million in net asset value at the end of Thursday. Burr only had about $20 million in net asset value, and they didn't have on their website whether they expected options. I assume they probably do, but one of the things you might be able to do, depending on liquidity and pricing, is sell a covered call and cover these fees. Now you can't do that. You cannot do that when you. That's not even possible if you go buy Bitcoin. Like you can't just. I'm going to sell a cover call on Bitcoin. So, um, that's one of the things there. You have to keep in mind, like if you're going to manage this long term and hold it, you're going to have to participate. All right, this is not if unless you want to just absorb these fees and take them out of your Bitcoin gains. So, it's something to think about. Um, is it right? Is it wrong? I don't know. Which one's the best? I'm not going through 150 pages of 11 prospectuses and trying to weigh out the pros and cons at this point. I'll let somebody else do that. That's not the kind of market analyst I like to be. I like to look at charts. I like to trade. I don't like to dig through, what would that be, like thousands of pages of prospectus and information. It's just not what I want to do. I welcome any of you, any CPAs or, anybody in the crowd to start digging through it. But yeah, I mean, can you buy Bitcoin in an IRA? Yes, and easily, no. Can you do it? Sure. You can set up a IRA trust and buy all the assets you want. And there's only a few exceptions to doing that. So, hey, Kimberly's here, and she's literally right there. So, anyway, what's best for you? I don't know. What's best for me? I'm just going to keep doing what I do and keep updating. And if I get into one of these spot ETFs, once they have options, I'll let you know. It's going to take at least about 6 months of chart before I have much to say about any of them, because that's about how long it takes for the roadmap line to show up on a daily chart. And then it's just going to be like that long. And that doesn't really help me much. So, yeah, that's kind of I mean, that's about all I have to say right now. They're out there. Which one's best? I don't know which one's best for you. If you have an IRA at Fidelity, that Fidelity may be the best one for you. They've got, no fees, no limit on the fees until July. But like I said, that's management fees, not expense fees. If you read the prospectus. Now, they may actually waive all the fees, including expense fees, but I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. Now, you may be like, what are the expense fees? Well, Coinbase is the custodian for 8 of them, and there are transaction fees. There's fees for buying the Bitcoin, selling the Bitcoin, transacting the Bitcoin. There is a redemption mechanism built into the ETFs. So if you buy a complete basket, and the basket sizes, like I said, are different sizes. Like Valkyrie's Burr was about 5,000 shares, and Van X was about 50,000 shares. And at the prices, Burr is at 5,000 shares. It doesn't take nearly as much money as it might. HODL, HODL. Look at that, $50 a share. $50 a share times 50,000 shares. That basket's a pretty darn big basket. All right. Did I go through all the other baskets? No. So, it's going to take a while. Now, why did they all sell off? Because Bitcoin's down. That's their spot ETFs, literally. All the two I looked up held cash and Bitcoin currently. That doesn't mean they won't hold treasuries. Like if you look up BITO, they hold current month, January, Bitcoin futures. They hold front month, February, Bitcoin futures. They hold treasuries. They hold cash. They hold a whole variety of things. And they actually pay a dividend. Most of these spot ETFs will never pay a dividend because Bitcoin doesn't generate any money. So it'll all be in the prospectus. It'll all be the redemption criteria. If they want to fold up and close the ETF, they can. And all that criteria is in that 150 pages per. I mean, Some of them were 100, some of them were 150. Some, it's all over the place. But if you want to know more about them, if you want to really know how my favorite one works, whichever one that favorite one is, I'm talking about your favorite one, whichever one you pick out of here, just go Google that ticker, ETF, prospectus. Go to the page, like VanEck's page, iShares, the BlackRock's page, Valkyrie's page, Invesco's page, Wisdom Tree's, Fidelity's page, Fidelity Wise, ARC 21's page. They all have to have a page, and they all publish their net asset value almost daily. So if you're interested in this sort of thing, you need to go do some homework. But if you're limited, if you're my IRA is at Fidelity and I'm gonna buy Fidelity because Fidelity has no fees. Great. I mean, I don't have any qualms. All right, no problems for me at this point. They're all essentially equal to me. Now GBTC has some history. Like I can actually chart that one out of all the others. So if we popped over here and we say GBTC, we can actually chart it and we can look at it and see what's going on. And that looks, this pullback looks a lot like Bitcoin's pullback right now. And if you didn't know, the market's actually open till 1 p.m. It's not like full on open. Futures market's open. We're actually seeing some ES price action moving around a little bit. Opened at 6 p.m. last night, getting a little retrace to the roadmap line here, showing some weakness. We may have dropped through. That high right there on Friday may have been a high. We didn't quite make it up to the 1272. Where are we going? I'm not sure. Can't say. Now, also, if you have been on any of my mailing lists and you have an email that says, hey, Jeffrey's talking about a 13-cent crypto, join the webinar today at 1 p.m. I'm going to be doing a live webinar at 1 p.m. going through a 13-cent crypto, tell you about 3 more cryptos that I think could benefit from this halving run. Now, what's the next big event? The halving event. And if we type it in here, bitcoinhalving.com. I just had to type BI. We have 97 days. Not 95 days, looks like. 95 days, 8 hours, 14,100 blocks left. It's getting close. That'll be the main event. Now, as I was explaining in my Crypto Power Plays update, though, you have unknown events. You have known unknown events. And you have known events. So, oh yeah, I turned that off on during the VIP session for, let's see, let me get that turned back on. And I actually turned that off. We were trying to make a point, and there we go. Got it back on for you, Valerie. So, there are unknown events. That's events the market has no clue are going to happen, and they don't know how it's going to react, right? Yeah, like all of a sudden we go to war. All of a sudden, with no buildup or anything like that. And yeah, I do have my monster here. Svinborn, thank you for the purple monster. And so, unknown events, like things the market doesn't know to expect, and they're unknown reaction. You could kind of say COVID was one of those, like an unknown event that dropped on the market. Unknown. Then there's known unknown events. This Bitcoin spot ETF thing, that was a known, we knew that was going to happen, but we didn't know what the reaction was going to be. So everybody, like the IV was ramped up, and that's why we see a lot of the miners just crushing. We're getting crushing IV. Even though they moved down, but it seems like the value got sucked out of this even more if in options and stuff like that than it should have. That's because it was a known unknown event. Like we didn't know what was going to happen, but we knew the event was going to happen. Earnings are another example of known unknown events all through the market, where we see implied volatility crush. That's after the event happens, If it's no big deal, we see this, air kind of suck out of the market. It's like, oh, it wasn't as good or as bad as we thought it was, and it just kind of, right? Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Hopefully, if you don't, let me know in the chat. But make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the subscribe button over there on the other corner so you can be part of the chat, be part of the live stream today. So that's one of the things. You have unknown events, things that we just don't know are coming. We have known unknown events like earnings and like this spot ETF approval or denial. It turns out it was approval, and then we have known events. They don't create as much implied volatility. Like a known event is going to be the halving event. We know it's coming. We know when it's coming. We just don't know what exactly the long-term effect will be. We're actually getting a little positive action today. But as I've talked about somewhat ad nauseum, the trying to get the all-time history index. This chart's probably sloppy. We're probably going to get a pullback. And we look at the futures. I've been pretty clear that we're probably going to get a pullback. We're already below the channel. Been talking about this channel for a couple weeks. We're below it. We could see a rapid retest of that 35,000 area right down in here. Would not surprise me one single bit. All right? Wouldn't surprise me. Now, NQ, that so far, lower high. Makes me nervous there. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. Clean this up just a little bit. We go from the high to the low. We stopped right at the 76. 1, 2, 3, 4 days. That sucker can roll right down here. All right, I know just the futures market's open today. I just want to update. I got kind of cut off on Friday. The hotel internet dropped out, and then my hotspot dropped out, and I was just like, I give up. So, yeah, make sure you like. And if anything I say is helpful, beneficial, I mean, I went through all this ETF stuff already. Hopefully somebody likes the information out there. Give me a thumbs up. If you interact with the video, give me a chat, write anything in there. We'll go through a bunch of coins and stuff here in a minute. So, Russell looks like it didn't even try to retrace roadmap line. Oil just churning. Tried to break out. Couldn't do it. Sitting right down here today. Gold. That's a lower high so far. Similar to ES and NQ. Looks like we may see that rollover. Now, one I ran across. I knew this existed. I just didn't know the ticker for it. Came across this over the weekend here. Check this one out right here. S5TW. And I think, let's see, probably have this. Oop. I need to. Where did it go? I don't know. S5TW. Basically the same lines. I need to throw those lines on here. Horizontal line at the 80. Settings. 80. Turn it up to 80. Right there. And let's lock it. And then we'll throw one at 20. Right down here. 20.00. Right like that. We're going to lock that one. So S5TW, S&P stocks above their 20-day moving average. Now, we've been talking about S5FI and the fact it looks like it's going to roll, right? It doesn't look so, no bueno, as I say. And look at that, already leading. We've been down all the way down to 36 on the stocks above their 20-day moving average. So if you're a 2050 kind of person, 2050 kind of trader, watch out. We're obviously getting below those 20s, and we could see those 50 start getting below those 50s This is just kind of like a giant market oscillator. The this one, interestingly enough, we see a lot of multi hits. Like this one could go right back up to the top before it comes to the bottom. This doesn't always. This one's not as oscillating to the extremes. We see a lot of midterm bounces here, where we get, we're at the top, we come down part way, we come back up, we come down all the way, we come back up, we come back, and then we break out again without going out the bottom, really. We see that a lot more on the 20-day than we do the 50-day. The 50 tends to go from one extreme, spend a little time, and then to the next extreme. Top, bottom, and it's probably just a side effect of the longer moving average. And these are just simple 50-day simple moving averages. No exponential stuff here. So there you go. All right. That's general broad market. And let's do something we don't usually do. Let's run through some of the cryptos, right? Some of the other cryptos. Ethereum came off the high. That was kind of an extreme level. It may not have been fully all the targets, but we haven't retraced back to the roadmap line. And that 618 is still up there at 34. It's still bearish until we're up above 34. I hate to say it, but that's kind of the way it is right now. Now, we do have this crazy head and shoulders thing that we did form back here in 22. And, started in 21, went into 22. And if that played out, that would take us somewhere up kind of near the zone we are, actually. Just a little bit higher, 28, 29. Mara's played out, and we stopped right there. So that one may play out. Ethereum Classic, look at that baby go. Right up to the 1272 kind of target area. Retracing a bit. Next go up, probably up to 36. So that one has some potential strength in it. I got a request in Discord to cover ARB USD. So let's just jump on that one really quickly. And pretty darn strong. I don't have a lot of history. Makes it kind of difficult to long-term chart. If that was a pullback and that's a pop, 250, maybe a good resistance, maybe 320. If we look in some of these smaller time frames here, yeah, we're way exceeding some of these smaller ones here. We had that pullback in there. Let's run a couple more pullbacks and see what we got cooking. Yeah, up to the 1618 there. Current pullback could lead us to the extension of 250. I think that's a confluence point in it. Yeah, right around that 250 area. Maybe watch for resistance at 250 if you're chasing that one. So right in there. All right. Yeah, sometimes I don't know, YouTube does various things, and I don't know. So Ravencoin, look at that, retracing to the roadmap line from above. If we can't stay above that roadmap line, that's kind of bearish, but that's a classic market roadmap kind of bounce right there, actually. If we can hold that, if we can break back above this, say 2.3 cent area, 2.2, 2.3, maybe 2.4 cent, we may extend out to 2.7, maybe 3 cents. Could be strong on Ravencoin. That's not big movers. I mean, that's only like 50% gain, right? I mean, that's weak for crypto. So Dogecoin, however you want to say it, same situation here on the daily chart. We may see this break down though, because if we zoom out just a little bit, look, we found a lot of resistance at these highs coming across here. Been unable to make higher highs, really, after coming off this ultimate low back here. Gives me a little bit of concern. If we get down below, say 7, probably 7 cents, we may see that extend even lower. And this is like 1, 2, 3, 1, 3 big moves up. For those of you that know that Elliott wave type stuff, we hit a bullish level, but we rejected right off of the. It's really a coin flip on Dogecoin, so be careful. That's what I would have to say. Ergo has been very uninteresting. ADA, a few people get into this, but it looks like it wants to retrace the roadmap line. And this has like a 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe a fifth wave down potential. Now, could that have been all it was? Yeah, that could. I mean, there's the potential that was all of the retrace it's going to do, right down to the 1272. So as far as extensions from right here, looks like if we get above like 64, 65 cents, that will probably go up to 75, maybe 83 cents on ADA. Now, Solana has been a huge opportunity. I got in back here at 25 when we did this measured bounce setup, and we ran right through that 1618, did a little retrace, had a little consolidation. Then we popped this area right here, and I've got some much loftier targets, 140, 180, and we may actually go extend 329, 411. That'd be pretty wild, right? So, still opportunity left here. Would I put big risk on it? No, don't go load the boat. That's not smart at this point. If this thing starts failing back below this, probably back below this consolidation box, and back below say 75, I may bail on my position. Oh darn! I booked 200% profit, but I'm not gonna limit my upside though yet. So one that I did kind of book off like that was Bitcoin Cash. Let's see, running through the list. If you want to know all the tickers that I update weekly, right here is kind of the list. Bitcoin Cash, it did this pop and then broke back down out of the box and hit the roadmap line, and on the bounce I liquidated because it just wasn't. It's not going. Like it's just sitting right on that roadmap line, just being sideways consolidation garbly goo right there. There's just overlaps, like every high overlaps every low, and every low overlaps every previous high. Like it just it's just not conducive for going higher at this point. It's probably going to make a third move down. What might that be at this point off of that high? That 786 retrace of the first move down. We could see a move down to 129 on Bitcoin Cash. And so I'm out of this for now, just waiting. So, do I expect it to go higher? Possibly, if we get this whole halving run sorted. Now, time frame on the halving run. Does it instantly have to take off in 95 days? No. Does it have to take off before 95 days? No. Does it have to take off at all? No. Don't get caught up in this. Too bad. All right. Sometimes in the past, we have seen the halving run delay for 2 months, 3 months, up to 6 months before it started going. It does create a reduced supply of Bitcoin hitting the market every 10 minutes. It's about how long it takes to mine a block, about 10 minutes. It's by design. So if it doesn't immediately take off, don't be too concerned. Hey, Goose is here. Hey, buddy. Glad to see you, Lieutenant Colonel Goose. We had a general come to a 2-star general come to the in-person meeting too. I didn't even know. General Rush, if you see him, give him a shout out too. Obviously stayed in and did all the things you got to do to be a general. That's a lot of respect there. So, circling back around, XRP, coming back around to the list. Look, that's not good. It's in a channel. It's hanging out kind of below the roadmap line. That's not positive. Hey, there's General Rush. Glad to see him, sir. And Dot right there. Dot may retrace right back down. Be careful. All right. Avalanche. Look at this though. High consolidation. This one looks like it might get some extension. Now, could we come down to the roadmap line? You betcha. You betcha. You betcha. Right there. Right there is support right around 30. The extensions. The extensions at this point 82, 70, 82, 97. I mean, this is some big potential upside on this one. At this point, just going off of the current low. If we get further, it'll all adjust. But nice potential. I do hold Avalanche. So I do hold Avalanche. I do hold Matic also. Consolidating above the roadmap line. That looks kind of like a head and shoulders forming, and we may see further downside. That's the not so awesome part. But we already hit the roadmap line here. So running the high to the low and cleaning up a few things. On this next push up, we could see 120, 130. It would be really nice to get above this, and then much higher targets up here, 210. So much higher targets. SHIB, I don't really like this one because I don't even know what to say. It's not pennies. It's not hundreds of pennies. It's like a bunch of zeros and 9. That's a lot of zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4. My eyes start blurring on how many zeros that is. It's a lot like Doge. And if you're not aware, when we look at CoinMarketCap over here, if you didn't even know about this website here, CoinMarketCap has a list of a lot of the cryptos. I'm not going to say all of them. It's thousands. And they list, they talk about over 2 million cryptos up here, 690 exchanges. You thought there was a lot of exchanges for crypto. Yeah, there's a lot of exchanges for crypto. And that's worldwide, not just in the U.S. And the point being here, though, when you come down and look at a coin, if it has a gray bar under it, it has a limited supply. So Bitcoin, limited supply. Ethereum, no bar, no limit on the supply. US Tether, no bar. That's a stable coin, so I'm not sure why or how you would invest in it because it's always $1. It's always pegged to $1. I don't digress. BNB, no limit. Solana, no limit. And my screen reader is trying to jump on and read all the prices here. XRP, right there, has a limit, but the supply is only 54% on the market. They could inflate that sucker down 50%, and it'd probably drop to, it'd probably plummet if they did that. So some of these are important to, US dollar, USDC, pegged to $1, not really going anywhere. ADA has a limit. Avalanche has a limit, but there's still only about 50% in the market. Doge has no limit. And this is getting down to Doge has no limit. And if we find SHIB down here, has no limit. Look how many bajillions of coins that is. We're making more. I think Dogecoin, every few seconds, there's 10,000 more on the market. So the market has to absorb 10,000 at 8 cents a piece just to maintain the price. Think about that gold conversation we were having a couple weeks ago. How 3,100 metric tons of gold, that's 3,100 kilograms of gold, got mined out last 2022. That's like 10 billion or whatever it was, $20 billion worth of gold, 10 million ounces or something like that. So $20 billion worth of gold had to be absorbed into the market just to maintain the price. That's inflationary. That's not a store of value. Excuse me. I mean, just be careful about it. I mean, lots of narratives are out there in the market. Use your brain a little bit. If they're dumping 3,100 tons of something on the market, it's not exactly a store of value, my opinion. And it's not projected to slow down for gold either. Now, Bitcoin, almost the entirety is mined out. Now you'd be like, oh, what's going to happen, in a couple of years when it's all mined out? Now, here's the thing: the halving event slows it down exponentially the further we get along. It's going to take 150 more years to get that last Bitcoin mined out. 150 years. We should all be so lucky as to be here. I hope to be here and see it and celebrate it with everybody, but we'll see what happens. And maybe we're all uploaded into AI systems or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. So anyway, be careful on the max supply. That's the cautionary tale here. Some things are close. Bitcoin Cash is and if you want to know more about these coins, you can click on them and dive in and dive deep and find out where they come from and what they are. Bitcoin Cash is a split. It's kind of like what they call a fork of the code for Bitcoin. They forked some years ago, and you can see it's not been nearly as popular at $249 versus $42,000. So it does have some value, but it's still in a top 50 coin. And down here at number 20, and this is CoinMarketCap's proprietary ratings of coins. So you may look at these numbers and the market caps kind of flow, but there's some anomalies in here where a bigger market cap is not necessarily in order. Anyway, that's just if you want to deep dive into some of these cryptos and find out more about them. Right here they are. You can click on them. You can go dive into them and find out more information. So back to the story of inflationary coins versus deflationary coins. They're dumping thousands of SHIB on the market every few minutes. I think that all the zeros in the price there kind of exhibits, and the fact that it's hanging out near the lows. We're not even up off the lows hardly at all. Very similar to Dogecoin when we kind of zoom this out a little bit. We're not down at these lows, but we're down in some lows and haven't really been able to get off the floor. Maybe not the best place to play. Now, Uniswap here. Was that the roadmap bounce? Maybe. Upside targets on that one. Potential for something like $9, maybe almost $10. It's gonna have to break back above this 740 area. So tomorrow at 5 p.m. I'll take all the requests you guys want to do. I have kind of my list. I'm just gonna kind of bounce through this one. Litecoin. Look at that under the roadmap line. That's bearish. Bearish. We may see Litecoin push down to a lower low. Since the market's not fully open today, I'm gonna skip all these that I usually hit. We saw a lot of money rotation prior to these spot ETFs. One of the best ways to gain exposure to Bitcoin. A lot of big money doesn't like futures ETFs, and the way they had exposure was through miners. So on Thursday and Friday, after those spot ETFs came on the market, we saw a lot of money rotating out of miners and into those spot ETFs. Now, which spot ETFs? Reportedly, IBIT was able to accumulate almost $1 billion of net asset value. It's obviously not trickling through here. So is that a positive? Is that the big one? Is that the winner? I don't know. Here's ARK's Bitcoin. They probably have quite a bit of money in there. And they were saying ungodly billions of dollars traded hands just between the 11 Bitcoin spot ETFs. So that was a lot of liquidity happening in those ETFs. All of them. Here's the interesting thing that I saw. They all created their baskets around the 5th through the 8th. I'm going to divert here for a second. So they all created their baskets of initial shares. Their initial funding is kind of like the angel investor came in and pumped money in to create the initial basket of shares. That all occurred from about, let's say, the 3rd through the 8th. So right there, the 8th. See that big up? I think that was the accumulation of those initial baskets of Bitcoin shares. And the excuse me, the two I looked up bought roughly 16 1,000, 1,500, 1,600 Bitcoins each. Now the number I've been talking about for a while, that soaking up the 15% of the available Bitcoin, that's over the next like 18 months. It's going to take time for money to flow into those Bitcoin ETFs. So this was the initial pop. This is the correction. We may see that retrace deeper before we find that low, that support, and move on. All right. Now, other interesting cryptos in here. Ones I kind of like a little bit. Kaspa. This one's extremely difficult to obtain. It's done a roadmap bounce. It's I actually mine this coin. Well, I let other people use my equipment to mine this coin. I get paid in Bitcoin. It's seems like renting the shovels, that kind of logic. If we can break above 13, looks like we may push on out to 17, maybe 20. It's not a huge upside at the moment. Another one that I recently got out of, this one right here, I had a 180 target. Looks like we're going to go on a deeper retrace at this point. I got in back here at 90, got out at 180 or $1.80, 180, $1.80, 90 cents, $1.80, double money. Probably going to go on a retrace. If we get back down this $1.10 area, I might look to, that'd be where it bounced off the roadmap line. If we get back in that area, hold support, I may be looking to get back into that one. So, another one I hold a lot of, Crow. Probably going to hit the roadmap line here. I have like 50,000 of these, maybe 60,000 of these staked down. Make like 7% on them. Paid every few minutes. And if you look at the bigger picture potential, we can see this one pop up into this 20-cent area. Even bigger picture performance potential back up in the 60-cent area. But we're at like 8 cents right now. So that's a lot of multiplier potential on Crow. Another one I like, Rose. This one does seem to be consolidating and may pull back to the roadmap line. So could this be the bottom? It could have done that 3-wave retrace right there, and this could be the initial move up and a retrace. If we break out back above 13, say 13.5 cents at this point, we're probably heading on up here, maybe into the 20. I do have an intermediate target at 16, but maybe in this 25-cent area. So there you go. There you go. All right. Well, happy Monday, everybody. Happy MLK Day. Enjoy the parades, I guess, for the national holiday. I'm going to kind of wrap this up here. Where do I see the market going today? No, not anywhere real big because we're mostly closed. We have early close on futures at 1 p.m. I'll be doing a webinar at 1 p.m. I don't have the link handy. I don't have the link handy, so I can't just throw it out there. If you're in Discord, I'll give you an invite. I'm going to talk about some of my favorite coins and the potential in crypto coming up with the halving event and everything like that. Give you opportunity to join me if you want to. If you're interested in that sort of thing, watch out for the link. If not, I'll see you tomorrow. We'll be back again tomorrow when the market's actually open and we can actually talk about it. So have a great day, everybody. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.